You had one job this week. Sweep for Mephisto, set up some double teams, and have some fun. And you couldn't even do that, huh? What's your excuse? What's your excuse, you little... Ugh, get out of here. Hello PPL fans, my name is OnesieBanette and welcome to week 6 of your Pokemon Premier League Pick'em Prediction series. That still has way too many P's in it, but I really don't care. Every week on our Discord server, we ask you guys to pick the outcome of every single one of our matches this week. If you are correct, I get to say very well done and give you the biggest clap and pat on the back you've ever had. If you get it wrong, I get to call you a loser and laugh at you. I am here today with a brand new hairstyle because after the craziness that happened in a couple of these games, I felt like I had to change everything about myself. Heat's so fire it burnt my head. But without further ado, let's get in and see what happened in this week's Pokemon Pick'ems. Let's go. Now our first game this week is a pretty fun one. We have Addison and the London Shockwave up against Lord MV and the San Diego Chimchargers. I personally believed this game was going to be a battle of confidence. We had two very confident trainers coming off the back of very commanding victories the previous week. Addison using a Binding Band Arcanine to defeat Drewby, which also won her Heat of the Week for the week, so very well done to Addison, versus Lord MV, who managed to get a 6-0 victory the previous week using the Dunsparce that just went absolutely crazy up against JV and the Atlanta Victinis. But what did you guys think was going to happen in this one? Well, this was a very, very even vote. We had 22 votes for Lord MV and 21 votes for Addison, so incredibly close here. MV, of course, coming out on top by one singular vote, which makes him the very, very slight favourite, and Addison, of course, being the very, very slight underdog. But what actually did happen here? Well, congratulations to the roughly half of you that voted for Lord MV because your boy managed to pull out a very commanding victory using a Boom Burst Dunsparce that did some very, very good things. So congratulations to the 22 of you who voted for MV and commiserations to the 21 of you who voted for Addison. Addison is a very good coach. She surely will have to bounce back next week, and MV just lets his confidence train keep on rolling. Now our second game here today is probably best described as a 6-pointer. Now we had Gravy and the Vancouver Titans up against Lars ellysux and the Borussia Dortmund. Don't know why I did that accent, but we're going to roll with it. This game was always going to be a very, very important game. Both of these coaches are 2 and 3. They are both on a -6 differential, and whoever loses this game is going to have an incredibly difficult time making playoffs for the rest of the season. Who was going to win this one? It's always going to be a dirty affair. Both of these coaches can't afford to lose too many Pokemon. They can't afford to see that differential slide any lower. So it was always going to be a very, very tight, scrappy affair. But what did you guys think was going to happen? Well, in a 2-to-1 ratio, you guys voted in favour of ellysux and the Borussia Dortmund. 28 votes for Lars and 14 for Gravy and the Vancouver Titans. But what actually did happen in this game? Well, after some back and forths, after some very, very hard-fought, tight skirmishing, we had a pretty commanding victory in the end for Lars ellysux and the Borussia Dortmund. So a big 4-0 victory there, pretty much consigning Jack to a very difficult end of season. He now basically has to win out and hope other results go his way in order to win. It's possible, but it will be very, very difficult. But congratulations to the 28 of you who voted for Lars ellysux this walking wake. Congratulations to Lars and his fans, and commiserations to Gravy and his. There is still time for Gravy to turn it around, but hopefully both of these coaches can manage to have very good end of the seasons, and you never know, they might still make it. So let's move on, shall we? Now, thirdly, in our crazy schedule of a week, we have JV and the Atlanta Victinis up against Mount A and the Immunity Idols. Now, JV had a very tough time this week. Last week, he was humbled 6-0 by Lord MV in the Battle of the Vs, where unfortunately JV was defeated unluckily. What am I doing? Yes, JV was beaten 6-0 by Lord MV, and this was his chance to bounce back. But his opponent this week, Mount-A, has been on a very, very good run. He's humbled a lot of opponents this season. He's beaten the likes of Addison, Ellie, Shuckle King, some very experienced battlers, and he was probably in a very, very confident mood going into this one. But what did you guys think was going to happen? Well, based off of the back of last week, it was pretty heavily in favour of Mount-A this week. JV only receiving 5 votes to Mount-A's 36. That has to be one of the most dominant performances in the pick'ems that we've had from any trainer, including when MV and Pokey Aim are picked. So yeah, it's a pretty certain affair here that you guys were very in favour of Mount-A for this one. I can't even speak. But yes, Mount-A was the favourite for this one. But how did the game actually go? Well, we did not have any upsets this week because Mount-A managed to take a pretty commanding victory against JV here, piling on the pressure to JV and tumbling him down to a 3-3 differential and at risk of losing his playoff spot as other coaches climb up and give themselves a chance to do so. But congratulations to the 36 of you who correctly predicted that Mount-A was going to take this game by the horns and basically run with it. And commiserations to the 5 JV fans. You're all great people, and JV is a very talented battler who's beaten some really cool people this season. So there will be chance for him to make amends and cement that playoff spot. Stay tuned to see whether he can actually do that. Okay, so I have to talk about this next game. I know I'm not the recap, but I simply have to do it. Next up we have Joey Pokey Aim and the LA Wakers up against Mephisto and the Nice Jinx. Now this game was basically going to be a heavyweight clash at the top of the table. Joey can cement his push for winner of the season if he can win this, and Mephisto is already going very well. He's one of the favourites for the league at this point, and they are both basically duking it out for the number 1 spot. There was some mind games going on before the game. This matchup seemed incredibly difficult for either player to call. There were a lot of threats that both sides didn't really have any answers for, and after all of the transfers that Mephisto had made, there was some very cool stuff that he was very excited to show off, like a Sourcebuck and a Masquerade that were basically shoo-ins to do things. They were very highly anticipated to make their debut, for want of a better word, and what a debut they did make. Now, you guys in our Discord server were pretty heavily in favour of Pokey Aim MD this week, with 32 votes for Pokey Aim MD and 11 for Mephisto, so almost a 1-to-3 ratio. But who actually did win this game? Well, on paper, it should have been a lot more commanding than it was. But I think both of these guys were playing for the content at the end, because this game finished in a, I believe, 2-0 victory for Joey Pokey Aim. And let's just talk about this real quick. This was one of the craziest games I've ever seen in my life. Mephisto, I don't know what the hell you were smoking or what kind of crack you were on for this game, but please, I want some. I must have some. I will make a deal with the Mafia. I must have whatever the hell you were smoking, because you looked like you were having a great time. I'm not going to give anything more away other than the team was ridiculous. It exposed some loopholes in the Pokemon Premier League's rule set, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the first times I've ever seen a player bring 5 Pokemon to a Draft League game. Yeah, ridiculous stuff. Go and watch this one. Congratulations to the 32 of you who voted for Pokey Aim MD, and commiserations to the 11 Mephisto fans out there. Don't worry, the Mafia is going to come and execute the defectors from this week. What am I even saying? Now, taking us down a notch on the meme scale and cranking us up a little notch on the heat scale, we have Ellie and the Shanghai Dragons up against Nexus and the Pittsburgh Pichus, and this game was going to be fun. Both of these coaches were 1-4, so pretty bad starts to the season, and really had nothing to lose at this point. They could go out, show their creativity and their class, and just have a little bit of fun and style on their opponents a little bit. and it would basically give one of these coaches a final chance to try and get themselves into playoffs. Now, it's still possible for the loser of this game to get into playoffs, but they would have to win out and hope a lot of other decisions and results go their way, and it would have to be a pretty huge differential swing. So this was basically a playoff ender for one of these coaches. Now, you guys on our Discord server voted in favour of Nexus, with 28 votes for Nexus and 15 for Ellie. But in this game, Draft League experience prevailed. Ellie was able to show her multiple years of league experience and her experience handling memes creatively, her vast item knowledge to effectively bowl over Nexus and secure the victory in this one. Ellie managing to now go 2-4. She brought a very fun set with Trick Ring Target, Hooper Unbound, which was able to secure a kill on a, what's the Pokemon called? Overquill. Secure a kill on the Overquill, and it was a sight to behold. Ellie bringing out the heat in this game. She's done very, very well, and a deserved victory. Commiserations to Nexus. He did get a win last week, but it wasn't enough to keep his form going into this week. Ellie getting a very commanding victory. Congratulations to the 15 of you who voted with your girl this week. Commiserations to the 28 of you who went for Nexus. He will have a season to remember for a multitude of reasons. Mainly, he used I Am Valiant very well, but it's going to be very difficult for him to make playoffs from here on out. So, here's hoping for a miracle. Now, moving on to game number 6, we had a very crucial game for both of these coaches. We had Q, the Costa Rican, and the Chicago Pulse up against Uzi Gunner and the Bullet Punch Club. I don't know why I did that. That was weird. My form was terrible there. I can't throw a punch to save my life. I'm sorry. I am not a Metagross. But yes, this game was going to be very crucial for both of these coaches. They're both 2-3, and the loser of this one would have a difficult time and basically be forced to win out in order to secure playoffs, where the victor would be given a little bit more leeway and have a real shot at making playoffs at the end of the season. You guys on our Discord server voted pretty heavily in favour of one particular coach, that coach being Uzi Gunner. Uzi with 25 votes for Uzi and 16 in favour of Q the Costa Rican. But when push comes to shove, when kick comes to bullet punch, who is the one that reigns supreme? Well, the victor in this game was Q the Costa Rican and the Chicago Pulse. After a very close game, Q was able to secure out the dub here. A very dominant performance from Q. 2-0 in the end, with some very good performances from Cleaver, Iron Moth, and Bronzong, of course, getting 2 kills apiece, whereas Uzi's own little pieces of tech didn't quite manage to pull the trigger this week. I'm coming out with all of the punch and gun puns here. This is strange. But yes, congratulations to every single one of you, all 16 of you, sorry, that voted for Q the Costa Rican, and commiserations to the Uzi Gunner fans out there. There are a lot of you. He is a very inspirational guy, and I'm sure that he will come out swinging and fighting for the next round of the Pokemon Premier League. He may still make playoffs, and if he does, it'll be one hell of a story. And that is it for this week of the Pick'em Prediction Series. My name has been OnesieBanette, and I want to know whether you were correct or not. Let us know below if you were correct in your prediction guesses, because I want to know, so I can either flame you or praise you. That's how it goes here. You get it right, you get praise. You get it wrong, you get called an idiot. But yes, thank you for watching. If you have managed to play along without actually being in the Discord server, what are you doing? Go down into our description right now, join the Discord server, and let us know what you thought of every single one of these games. But that's it from me. I'm going to go and have a lie down and wash my hair because it's stained my skin, and I will see you guys later. So thank you for watching. Catch you later, guys. Bye.